All right, all right. Listen, ladies, it's a beautiful day. It's a great weather for my hair. If you know, you know. Miami is usually so humid. But listen, you are in Sunny Isles, Florida. I mean, Aventura area. This is, we're beautiful. We're right next to the beach. So, it's going to be an exciting day. And, I'm all about energy. And let me put this down really quick. Before we get started, I want to just help me give it up one more time for Gus and Ashley, because they put this event together so seamlessly. I don't know if you guys know, if you're new registers or you were here from before, but this was supposed to be back in November. Was it, what holiday? It was Veterans Day, I think it was. Veterans Day. And I mean, everything was going great. And then, the Miami hurricane decided to, we had a hurricane warning and it was raining for like a week. And let me tell you, these guys, they were here the whole time that week, just rearranging everything, preparing everything to get you back here safe. And it's awesome to see because yes, there's a lot of people that couldn't come back on the rescheduled day, but you're here and that's what matters. So give it up for yourselves. Thank you guys so much. And, I want you to look at, before we really get started, I want you to look at your partner to your right or to your left and say, you are at the right place at the right time. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Seriously, you know what? Like Ashley was telling you, my name is Karen Sanchez. I own a financial services company with my husband. And, we just love to educate people on how to get financial clarity because, money is one of those things that affects every area of our life. It affects our career, our children, our marriage, even the way that we feel about ourselves. And, when we don't have clarity, it brings unnecessary stress and worry. So before we get started, this was not part of what I wanted to talk about, but can I be vulnerable here for a second? I feel like this room is safe, and I feel like somebody here needs to hear this. I want you to know that standing here today, I can't even tell you it's a dream because I never even dared to dream this big. And, a couple of years ago, I had, my last baby. I was already 38 years old. It was a huge surprise, and I was grateful that I was able to stay home with my kids. My business was already at a place where I could take this time off. I took a little too long, but but the point is that it was a blessing to be with my children at home. But in that process, as I deep dive into motherhood and just be in the moment and enjoy those days, I started to lose myself as far as the woman, the professional, the go-getter. And I feel like maybe a couple of you could relate to this, but I started, there was always that little flame inside of me of who I knew who I wanted to be, who I once was. I had lost that. And it wasn't until, I want to say it was 2 years ago, I went to a vision board party, part of a women's conference as well. And, everybody was working on their vision board. And I remember at that time, what I wanted was to be this professional woman again, someone very simple, somebody who does their nails, their hair, is empowered, knows where they're going, is in charge of their career. And at that moment, I was none of that, but I felt like I wanted to get back to that. So I had a vision of who I wanted to be, and that's what's most important. It doesn't matter where you are right now, but if you have a little vision of what it is that you want to get to, I think today you're going to get a lot of powerful tools on how to get there. So I started just getting out there a little bit. I hired a productivity coach, which you're going to hear later on from today, Sandy Glant. And the more of the steps that she started giving me on what to do little by little, that little flame turned into this fire, this raging fire of wanting to continually to personal develop and get to where I wanted to get to. And I'm so excited, guys, because I'm standing here today And I remember that the woman that I had in that vision board is who I'm standing here today, with this beautiful suit that I love. That, by the way, when I bought it, I said, I need this suit. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'm going to use it. And so, I'm standing here today, and I realized as I was coming over here preparing for my talk this week that everything that I wanted on that vision board of the woman that I wanted to become, I want to say that I'm almost there. I'm almost there. So this was a big challenge because public speaking, before, I'd rather be dead. No. But you know what? I knew that I constantly am challenging myself. I have to, to show to other women that have been through what I went through that if I can do it, you can do it too. So I'm excited about that. I wanted to share that with you guys because it doesn't matter where you are right now. What matters is where you're going. And just always remember that your story can impact someone else as well. So thank you. Thank you. All righty, so I took a bunch of time because that was not part of my speech, but I wanted to share that. So I am going to, my talk is on how.
I have a clicker for you.
Oh, okay, let me see how I'm going. Give me 1 second, guys. Today I'm going to be more of a teacher than let's see how I'm going to do this. You know what? Can you click for me? All right, my talk is on how to master your money mindset. So I have a lot to cover in this little bit of time that I have. So I'm going to be going back and forth reading from here. But this is going to be really good because it's the 5 steps on how to picture your prosperity. I'm excited to share this with you guys. I want to start with the first picture. And I want to talk, here is my beautiful family. My 15-year-old, my 4-year-old, my 12-year-old, my husband, my best friend. I mean, we've been in business together, like I said, for over 20 years. We met working together. He was my boss. So, guys, this is the Sanchez group. This is my why. This is why I do what I do. This is why I always, get myself in uncomfortable situations to grow. Let's go to the next picture. So this picture here, Master Your Money Mindset, a 5-step system designed to help manage your money, design your life, and create your future. So I want to do something with this picture. I want you to think for a minute, what do you see there? Because some people might think, well, this person looks maybe careless, money's everywhere, maybe a little bit unorganized. And then maybe you think like me, where I see this powerful woman in an amazing suit, has everything under control. She's relaxed, has systems in place, and she attracts money. Money comes to her easily. So I love that picture because it believe it or not, it challenges some people to let you know where you're at in your mind and what limitations you may have. Next thing I want to do is I want to play this game with you. Very simple. Can you click on the next one? I want you to tell me how many times do you see the letter F in 30 seconds. Ready to click it? Did you click it? No, it's still there. You might have to come closer. Okay. Well, I'm telling you there how many times. Go again. Maybe some of you could shout out some numbers. It's not clicking. Okay. Okay, 3, 5, who else? 6. Okay, who else? Okay, let's go back. We have 3, 6. Let's count. All right, next slide. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even though the F is seen clearly by the eye, it doesn't register to the mind because the mind is reading of, which you sound the letter V. This is just to show you that our mind's prior conditioning can affect our ability to see clearly. And this is the reason why I wanted to show you that is because a lot of the times we don't realize that, especially when it comes to our finances, We've been unintentionally and intentionally programmed, depending on how you grew up around finances. Some of us have a limited mindset. Some of us may have a more of an abundant mindset. These are things that we saw either in our household or that we learned through life. So let's get into it. Number one is creating your personal financial vision. So I'm going to go through these steps really quick in the time that I have. Money affects, like I mentioned before, every area of our life. Having a personal vision isn't spoken about, but it has the power to transform your money and your life. We can start by creating our prosperity picture, which I like to call, by using a visual depiction of what you want out of life and in the future. A dreamscape, a roadmap, some people call it a vision board. The point is that you want to have this in paper. And you can do it. I know in a vision board sometimes we put, the house, the cars, and that's great. But I want you to do something, maybe when you get home, when you get back, something that has to do regarding your finances. Some people may say, well, I want to get to this income level, or I want to get out of debt. I want to have all my financials in order. You can do something like that as well. There's power in visualization. To take it a step further, Napoleon Hill calls it in the book Think and Grow Rich. He calls it the power of auto-suggestion. So what he's talking about there is that the more that you see it, well, he actually says that you should not only see this picture, but also read it to yourself, what it is where you want to get to, first thing in the morning and first thing in the, right before you go to bed. What happens is our subconscious mind doesn't know if what you're telling it it's true. So you want to speak as if it's already happening, right? So these are the things that you want to program yourself with, because we are already programmed with whatever financial stories. What's our money story in our mind? What's our money script? Whatever that is, because we were, like I said, as growing up, whatever we saw is what our mind is telling us. So if you want to change that, this is a powerful way. Visualization is powerful. Reading it to yourself is also powerful. Talking about where you want to get to. Here, I want to tell you a little bit of, I told you guys before a little bit how I got here. But, I was conditioned to go to school, get an education, a job. But in the journey, we discovered that we wanted more. We wanted more for our lives. My husband and I started working and devising a vision for ourselves. And today we live a life by design, working together and being on a mission together, because we started many years ago with an idea of what we wanted to do. We always knew we wanted to work together. We always knew we loved finances. That's always been his strong suit. And I wanted to, where our business is today, we educate people everywhere about, finances. And it's amazing that to get to work, and that's our job. But many years ago, that was just an idea. Again, we created that vision. So I want to do this little exercise with you guys. I want us to take a moment and close our eyes. And I want you to think, just close our eyes and think of 2 to 3, what are the first 2 to 3 pictures that pop in your head of your personal financial vision and how you want your life to look. So if you could close your eyes and think of those 2 to 3 pictures that pop in your head. Don't open your eyes yet while you're thinking about that. And sometimes, believe it or not, could be hard for some people to even imagine that. Think about where you want to be financially. What does it mean to you? Where are you in that picture? And who's with you? What do you smell? What do you hear? And how does that make you feel? So just take a moment and think of that, because you have to be able to connect it. Otherwise, it's just a picture. So you could open your eyes now. We know that. How was that? Was there anybody able to imagine? Yes? Good. Money's not the end goal here, right? It's prosperity, because prosperity can bleed into all aspects of our life. So now that we have some clarity with our financial vision and we thought about where it is that we want to get to, let's take charge of your financial wellness and know where you're at. So this is where I'm going to be a little bit more of a teacher, because I'm going to give you guys some notes here. The truth is that if we prepare for weight loss, if like right now we want to look at where we're at. And I want to share this with you because I just recently started my health and fitness journey, very recent, a week and a half ago. So I'm no expert. I'm no expert, but I do feel great. Oh my God, I have so much energy. I'm now a morning person, which I've never been. So just pray for me that it keeps up. I'm just going day by day right now. But the truth is that to know where we're at, we got to know where we're going. We got to know where we're at. So if we prepared for weight loss, the first thing that we want to do is probably measure, weight ourselves. We probably, if you're really serious, you want to go to the doctor and do blood work. Maybe get with Flawless and do a, what is the test? What is the test called? No, the test where you find your minerals and all that stuff. A genetic and mineral testing, like you want to find out what's going on inside, right? If you're really serious about it. When I hired my coach right now, the first thing she did, she was asking me about my vision. Where is it that you want to get to? Why is it that you want to be healthy now? Where do you want to be fit? For me, it was not even about looks, believe it or not. I know the history of my family with diabetes and high blood pressure and, seeing my young children, and here we are trying to build this business, but if there's no health, what does it matter the wealth, right? So, it's very important that as you look at where you want to get to financially, we want to take an inventory of where we're at to identify our beginning point. And for your financial prosperity, your second step is to take charge of your financial wellness by knowing where you're at. When we're unsure of where we stand, it creates unnecessary stress and worry. But sometimes we don't even know what questions to ask ourselves when it comes to our finances. So let's do this exercise. I want you to ask yourself these questions. This will be a good sign to show you where you're at. And I want you to rate yourself from 1 to 10. So I think my questions are there. I want you to ask yourself these questions, and if you want to write them down somewhere or take a picture and rate yourself for later, if you want to look at it later. I have a written inventory of my assets and liabilities that is complete and up to date. So obviously, strongly disagree or strongly agree. Next question. I'm satisfied with the amount of money I'm currently saving and investing. Next question. I'm confident the insurance I have, my health, life, home, auto, etc., would adequately protect me if needed. I have a will, estate plan that is complete and up to date. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Too fast? Okay, I'm sorry. Does anybody need me to go back one time? No, go back. Let's go back to the first one.
I'm going to add in something real quick. All presentations will be available online and recorded for later viewing.
Thank you, Gus. The best. Okay, next one. I'm satisfied with the amount of money I'm currently saving and investing. The next one. I'm confident the insurance I have would adequately protect me. I have a will estate plan that's complete and up to date. Next. I communicate regularly and effectively with my spouse or partner about money. I know this is a tough one. Is that the last one there? Okay, let me just, this wasn't part of my speech, but I mean, you see the trend. In this one, I want to say something. I'm confident, no, go back the last one. I communicate regularly and effectively with my spouse or partner about money. This is very important because a lot of us sometimes, we have a script in our mind that maybe your partner could be very supportive, but you already have a script in your mind and maybe you don't want to share finances with him. And I'll share, I remember when we first got married, I would buy things and I would leave it in the trunk until Max went to sleep. and then I would bring the bags inside the house. And we were right at that moment. We were buying a house. It was pre-construction, and I was always during my lunch. I would go shop. That was my lunch break. And one day, Max was like, wow, where did all this stuff come from? And I'm like, oh, that's old. I bought it. But you know what? I realized at that moment, like, Max had never, he had never questioned me anything about what are you buying or what are you doing, or like, he's always been, if anything, very supportive. But here's what happened. I grew up seeing that. My parents did not have a good money relationship. You're nodding your head, yes? See? Exactly. So I remember when I was very young, one of my bosses, she was like, oh, I'm gonna go, this purse doesn't match, I'm gonna go get another one. And I'm like, you're going home? She goes, oh no, sweetie, all my purses are in my trunk. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not the only one. But, I realized, and we had this conversation, that I had always seen my mom do that. So then I did the same. It's just the same thing when I was, doing the bills. Max was like, oh, just here, the money's there, just, take care of all the bills. And then I was always paying a minimum payment. And I remember one time Max was like, why do we have a balance on this? And I'm like, oh, I just make the minimum payment. And he's like, but why? He's like, the money's in the account. I don't know, I remember that's what my mom used to do. You used to pay the minimum payment. And it never dawned on me, at that time maybe, she didn't have it, but because that's what I saw, I thought that was what I had to do. So this conversation is very important because sometimes your partner might be able to help you with those limitations. And if you can't have it with your partner, find someone to do it with and say, hey, how do you guys do this? Or how do you do that? Because it might be able to help you and it might be able to get you out of a box that you don't even realize you're in, right? So, let's moving on. I'm confident my investment plan is allocated in a way appropriate for my goals. So strongly agree or strongly disagree. Next. So my recommendations here are that you be up to date with your liabilities and assets, get clear on how much you're spending, saving, investing, communicate with your spouse, partner about your finances at least twice a year. Know where all your important documents are. Creating your prosperity picture is important, but just as important is a snapshot of your current situation. You have to know where you stand today to know where it is that you want to get to. And having clarity breeds confidence, and confidence is what leads you to feel competent about your money. So now I want to talk about designing a winning plan. All right, guys. A mental plan with no actionable steps is like a wish. The way I want you to envision designing this plan is to think of building a house, your financial house. So we're going to go over here a little bit about how to figure out what is your FIN number, your financially independent number. Has anybody ever heard that before? So your financially independent number, it's a specific number you must obtain so you never have to work for money again. Once you know your number, you can begin to construct your financial house. Next is a strong foundation. So your life insurance will make sure your house doesn't crumble. We're talking about protecting your most important assets, your ability to earn income, and to protect your life with insurance. If something were to happen to you, obviously, how would your family survive financially? The framework here for building your financial house is your cash flow, your budget, your spending plan. You must tell your money where to go versus wondering where it went. One of the things that I want you to get out of this is that money needs to have a purpose. If you don't give your money a purpose, it will leave you. Money likes to be where it's told what to do. It does not like to be where it's, it doesn't have somebody telling it where to go, because it will go. And it will go to the hand of, someone else is going to tell it where to go, right? How to use it. That's where money likes to be. You must tell your money where to go versus wondering. It's not about how much you make, but how much you get to keep. Without a plan, you spend more, borrow more, and save less. And we definitely want to be out of that cycle. The roof of your house Think of it as your key legal documents, your will, your power of attorney, your advanced medical directive. This protects your assets and your family. So I'll give you a tip for those out-of-towners. The state of Florida is a probate state. So if you don't have a will, whatever was yours is now the state's. Including, and you could say, well, I don't have a house. Well, including your children. You never want to be in a position where a judge is going to tell you who should take care of your children, right? And a lot of the times it's not going to be grandma. You know, the first things, it's not going to be your sister. The first thing that they look at is who is financially competent that could take care of these children. A lot of the times, you know, the best place they could be is with grandma, but if grandma can't afford it, you know, she can't take care of the kids, then that's not who they're going with. But if you have a will in place and you have all of that, you don't have to worry about that. And the first floor, let's go back to the house. We talked about the roof. The first floor should be your emergency fund. Right after the foundation, which is a life insurance, the next floor, the first floor should be your emergency fund. The three phases in an emergency is that you just got out of one, or you're in one, or you're about to go into one. So it's very important to have an emergency fund. You know, experts recommend 3 to 6 months. If you could do more, obviously, that's great. But have at least 3 to 6 months. You never know when you might want to leave your job or when your job might leave you. So at that moment, instead of, you know, being in chaos and worry and unnecessary stress, well, we already know where, you know, I have something to fall back on. Your second floor is your debt elimination. Debt is like a financial cancer. It robs us from the ability to save and invest. You know, consider debt your enemy. You want to be in a position where you are in control of your money. Your money does not control you. The third floor is investing. You cannot save your way to wealth. Let me say that again. You cannot save your way to wealth. Most people cannot save $4,166 a month. That's what it would take to have $1 million in 20 years today. Investing is simply having your money get up and go to work for you, like you do daily, with the sole purpose to create more money. Financial freedom requires for you to invest. There's more components that go into building a financial house, but you can talk about that with your financial advisor. Number 4 is now, how are we going to make it happen? What is your money script? It takes action to turn your prosperity picture from a pretty collage reflecting your vision to actual results in your life. By following these steps, you will move from concerned to confident. Your belief becomes your thoughts. I want to put this quote up here that I love from Mahatma Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits, and your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Have you ever questioned your beliefs about money? I shared, all those stories before about myself. I realized, actually, as an adult, that I actually had a very limited mindset. I had a mindset of scarcity, always looking at what's the price. It doesn't matter what the price is. Just yesterday, I heard a lady, I was at Einstein Bagels, and the lady said, "Excuse me, how much is it to add another slice of cheese?" with her card on her hand. And I said, I don't think it would have mattered if the lady said 50 cents or $3, $4, $5. She already had her card in her hand. But why do we ask ourselves those things? So how much is it going to cost? It doesn't really matter. It's what money or cost or the price it is only a problem in the absence of value. So we have to ask ourselves, what is our money script? Not too long ago, I was talking to Ashley about how we're unintentionally and intentionally programmed about money. Our financial journey is one that has been passed down to us, and even worse is when it's given to us in good faith, but negligent advice. I mean, has anybody ever received negligent advice? You know how they say, don't take advice from your broke uncle? Have you ever noticed in Disney stories, the poor guy is always the good guy? We talked about this. And the bad guy is always the rich guy. in all of the Disney stories, it's crazy. But that's just another way of what I'm talking about, how we have been unintentionally and intentionally, given this money script that we have in our head, such as that example. A lot of the times people think, well, rich people, are not nice or are not bad. I remember when I worked in foster care many, many years ago, that's actually how we started doing workshops. Max I asked him to come and do life class for the children that were aging out of foster care. And that money class was the one class that they loved. But as we developed a relationship with these children, I remember Max asking somebody a question, and he said, no, rich people are bad. And he said, why do you say that? He's like, yeah, they always want more, and they're always this and always that. And Max was like, well, let me ask you a question. Who do you think paid for this beautiful building and this shelter home where you're at, where everything is like first class? And he's like, it's people that gave donations, that invested so you guys could have this beautiful home, because this was a beautiful, beautiful group home. And he said, it's people that are great with their money and have been able to give back. And it was amazing to see his face. He was just taken back, like, I never thought of it that way. He just always thought rich people are mean. So again, these are just little things that we don't even realize. This is what's going on. So we have to retrain our brain and create a new money script. Did your parents talk about money at home? Did you feel like there was a lot of money or a lack of money? Did your parents argue about finances? I know in my house they did. What's your first money memory? And what current beliefs serve you well and which don't? I was talking to Ashley about this because I remember, like I mentioned to you guys before, about how my mom handled the bills. But I also remember that in my household, my parents, the money talk was either going to be a fight, or it was my dad always looked the other way, like you deal with it. But when it costs more, he would argue like, hey, why is this that? And my mom was always like, well, you don't want to know, you just why are you asking me why it's more? You could hear all the bills, you could pay it. So it was avoidance. He just didn't want to deal with that. So you have to you got to realize, do I avoid certain things? And the truth is that the better that we get at this, the better money script we create. We were passing that down to our children. So that's what's most important here. You want to create a money script in your head that's intentionally passed down to our children. For example, I want to pass down a legacy of ownership. I want my children to be confident about their money. One where they know that money is a tool. Money is meant to be used for a purpose. And that's true generational wealth. That's a word that we hear a lot right now. Everybody wants to build generational wealth. There's so many layers to that. The top layer is just, invest and save. But it goes deeper than that, I know Max always talks about when he was growing up, his parents always told him, you have to save, you have to save. And he's like, okay, I saved, but where and how and for what? They didn't tell me. But, how further, he would have been along if they would have given him, hey, look, this is how you save, a specific plan, right? And I mean, I'm just giving an example. Our parents are amazing people. They are doing well today. But, all life stories, the school of hard knocks, like they say. And I think that we can all relate to that. So going into now, the next one is enjoy the journey. Having an attitude of gratitude. What are you grateful for? The big things, the small. Gratitude can reduce materialism. Studies show that materialism reduces happiness at every financial level. So it's not just if we have a little bit, even if we have a lot. If you're focused on the materialistic, you got to ask yourself, where am I searching for that joy? Is it in things? We usually judge people by what we have and what we have not. You've heard the saying, this person's born with a silver spoon. This person can rub two nickels together. But really, is that the right way to measure? Instead, measure through satisfaction, happiness that money brings them, how money is a tool. I always say that money only exemplifies who you already are. If you are a giving person, you're just going to give more. If you are, excuse the word, if you're a jerk about money, well, it's just going to make you a bigger jerk, right? So you have to shift from counting your money to counting with your money. Worry is a bad financial planning strategy. So that's the whole point of this, right? I don't want you guys to worry. Financial stress keeps people from using their money as a force, as a good in their lives. Focus on giving and its impact regardless of the cost. The act of giving doesn't have to be like the gates. Instead, start where you are, your money, your time, your gifts. You know, I remember many years ago, Max and I had started doing a financial class at a church, and at that time in our life, we wanted to give more, but we just couldn't. We couldn't give more than what we could. So we were like, you know what? We could give back. And we started doing this class every Sunday, and you know what? It took a lot because you know you're serving before church, then you're at church, then you have to stay after church to do this class, right? It was for an hour, but this was our way of giving back. So you got to start where you are. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be more money. Focus on the impact regardless of the cost, and share your gifts. Giving back to who, how, when. Financial gratitude. What have you done well financially? Where your thoughts go, so does your energy. So you have to think about that. I think that we have another slide. Okay. Gain traction through action. Reduce your debt. Gratitude. Think of gratitude at least 5 minutes a day. Decide to make a difference. Set up a giving account. One of the highlights of my year, we just did it actually in November. I have 3 new nephews. They're 1 year old, a set of twins, and then the other one who's only a month apart. And the biggest joy of my life, I think right now, was that I started their college account, their investment account, and you know, I just love it. I can't wait for that monthly, draft to come out of my account. That just makes me feel so good to know that in the future they're going to have options, because I decided to just pour a little bit, every month. So you could do something like that as well. Let's see, where are we? Gain traction. We are almost done, guys. I told you it was a lot, so I needed to read from here. Reduce your debt. Gratitude. Shift your perspective from problems to possibilities. Take advantage of the tax benefits. Talk to your CPA. When you buy something new, make sure to give something away. Be a great giver and a great receiver. And that right there is a problem. A lot of us love to give, but we're not good at receiving. Remember that swinging it too far one way or the other can block your prosperity. And in closing, I just want to say that here's what I know it's true. You don't inherit discipline. You don't get discipline from your siblings. You can't get discipline from an external source. It has to come from yourself. And there is power in small daily habits. I'm telling you, I'm here today because of those small daily habits. My focus has been to just get 1% better every day. My prayer for you is that you incorporate the things that you will learn today, and because knowledge is one of those things that, unless activated, is useless. Knowledge is cheap. You could find it anywhere. But the amazing thing is when you actually apply that knowledge in your life. And that has been a key for me. As I mentioned when we began, I hired a productivity coach early this year. And every time she talks to us about whatever we learned that week, as soon as we hang up the call, I go in and put it into action. I don't care if it's perfect. I don't care if that's how it was. It's all about progression, not perfection, right? So I want you to please... my goal is that you become financially resilient with the things that we talked about. So please scan this QR code, take 2 minutes to fill it out, and you're going to receive our free How Money Works book as a bonus. And you'll have the opportunity to also meet one-on-one through a Zoom if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we talked about. And so just get on the card and let me know there how we did. So, and if you have any questions, you can also let me know. But guys, it has been a pleasure. I am so grateful to you guys for bringing me on today, and for you guys for listening and, going over these, 5 topics on how to, find your prosperity and have that mind shift about your finances. So thank you so much, guys.